Can a criminal map your entire online life just starting with your LinkedIn account? The tools that I'm going to show you right now are free trial, or low cost. If you have no technical knowledge, don't worry, because they are the tools that do all the hard work for you. It's just a case of knowing them and knowing how to use them, but I'll show you exactly how to do that. I am a digital profiler. I get paid to do online investigations, and sometimes clients pay me to investigate them and essentially uncover all their weaknesses, personal data online, so they can patch it up and ultimately feel more confident. So there is a path, a digital trail that we can follow from LinkedIn, which will take us to mobile number, emails, addresses, passwords, even passport numbers sometimes. It just takes knowing a little bit about open source intelligence, public information, and how to navigate it. So the 4 steps that we're going to go through are, first things first, we want to find the email address linked to the LinkedIn account. Then we want to do an initial online presence scan. And then we want to map their actual online presence using the information we find from the 2 previous steps. And then finish it off with a manual search online and facial recognition. All that I ask after the back of this is you use this information to help yourself stay safer online. So first step is finding the email linked to the LinkedIn account. So we go to LinkedIn. In 2012, LinkedIn was hacked. So if the account you're investigating was started before 2012, there's a high chance that all the personal information linked to it is on a database in the public domain. You just need a special tool to search for it. So I am one of those people that are affected by that. So what we want to do is to go to the URL of LinkedIn, and at the top there you have the username. Now I've recently changed my username to stop search so it's happening to me. So you can't search me in this. However, I have the old username that I used, which is here. It's a very generic LinkedIn one. I'm sure you've all seen it before, and I'm sure you probably have one as well. You have to be quite busy to actually change the username at the top. So we want to take this username and we want to put it into a tool called Maltego. Now Maltego looks a bit overwhelming at first. It is a very good piece of software and it has a free trial. Essentially what Maltego does is it draws loads of different tools and loads of different data sources together in one central place and allows you to do all the investigation within there. Lots of people use it, investigative journalists, National Crime Agency, MI5, every investigative entity uses these sort of this tool. Download it for free. I won't go through it. It's quite easy to set up. You get some free credits each month. If you run out, you can just get another free account. So we want to go into there and we want to paste the username into the graph. I'll show you how it works. So paste. And right now, this thing here, we want to right-hand click it or control click if you're Mac. Go down to this button here. And what it's going to do is going to change the object. So right now, it just thinks it's text. We want to change this to an alias so the system and the software knows that this is a username. So now it's a username, we right hand click or control click and we want to do a delete records. Now what that does is it will bring back this graph here, and this graph and this information is information that has essentially been stolen by hackers. The hackers then put this into the public domain. Once this information is in the public domain, available to everyone, then we're allowed to look at it. It's public information. And this is where you'll get the email address that is linked to the LinkedIn account. Once we have this, we want to do the second step. So the second step is an initial digital footprint scan. This is 2 searches we're going to do. So we're going to take the information from LinkedIn and we're going to plug it into Maltego. We want to get a person entity, which I've done here. I want to put the person's name in there. So Aaron Barnes is me. We want to put that in there. Then we're going to right-hand click or control click if you're Mac. We're going to search for people, spelled P-I-P-L. Open that up. Once we get that, it's going to have loads of different bits of information that we need to fill in. A lot of it is self-explanatory: gender, job title, where they work, what education they have, where they got it, email address we just got, that's where we got it, the username from the profile at the top here. Plug that in. Location data, self-explanatory. Age, we don't specifically know the age. If you're working with a client, they can tell you it perfect, but we don't always know the age. So the laziest way to get the age here is to go down LinkedIn, copy and paste out all the work experience and all the education experience, plug it into ChatGPT and ask it to give you the age, and then we put it in. Now, if you can't get the email address from the data breach search, because it is important to put an email in there, the other option we can do is find a work email linked to them. So there is a tool called Hunter.io. Hunter.io accumulates different work organization emails. So, and then it lets you know what the format is. So Amazon work email format might be first name dot last name at amazon.com. Google might be first initial, full stop, last name at google.com. Domino's might be last name, first initial at domino's.com. You get the picture. So we want to take the companies that they've worked at. The bigger companies, the better. And then we want to plug it into Hunter.io. So Saint-Gobain, I used to work there in IT a while ago. So we want to discover company name, Saint-Gobain. Saint-Gobain. Okay. Not what we wanted. Saint-Gobain.com. There we go. And we want to reveal. So the format for this company is first name, full stop, last name. So now we know I've worked at that place, and the work email format for that place is first name, full stop, last name at saintgobain.com. So that's another email we have for that person that we can use. So once we have this information, we fill this out, we run it, and then it's going to bring back, it's going to take all the fixed variables that we've just given it, the known information about myself, and then it's going to make different links online and bring it all together. Very powerful. So we see here, we've got an old embarrassing selfie of myself. We've got an old personal mobile number. We have my Facebook account. We have usernames. We have my old Twitter. We have various old job titles, Pinterest, usernames. So there's a lot of personal information linked to me just off that one search. So I want to save this. I want to use it for later, but it just goes to show the personal number is a big one, because that was a number I've used for a lot of my life. I only changed it a few years ago and I realised how badly it was affected and how available it was online. So the next side of this initial digital footprint search is we want to deep dive further into the data breached information. This really is the most powerful for finding personal information, and obviously the security and weakness side of thing makes sense. So what we have found in this initial search is my real name is not Aaron Barnes. I've got a hyphenated last name, a longer. I just normally shorten it because it's easier. But my full name is Aaron Barnes Wilding. So the data breach searches that I mentioned, where all our personal information, you and I, everyone's affected by it. It's all dumped somewhere. We want to search these databases with keywords linked to our person of interest, in this case, me. Now, I have a very unique name, Aaron Barnes Wilding. So we're just going to search that name, Aaron Barnes Wilding. If you have someone who is very generic, John Smith, John Doe, Jane Smith, then you want to take their name and then the year of birth. So we worked out roughly how old they were. We want to give them the year of birth, and we want to search name and year of birth. So there's two fixed variables that we can use to collate information online and bring it together so we can map their online footprint. So I've done this, and it's here, and I have a lot of information linked to me. I had to redact a few bits of it, but I was trying to leave as much in as possible and be as open book as possible, but there was 2 bits of information where you can find it if you really want to, but I just prefer not to put it on blast on here. So these have come back with a lot of records. We have my old email address from when I was about 10 or 12 onwards, from a young teen, roaring Azza. We've all got embarrassing emails. We have that work email that we saw earlier, an old work related address. I think that was for an accountant. My old work mobile number. That was a personal email that still has some links to me now. That was a address which was linked to someone I know. There's the Saint Gobain email that we're talking about, my work one, and where I used to work, and then my Twitter. So again, a lot of information, a lot of personal information linked to me. We want to take all these personally identifying bits of information, so the mobile numbers and the emails. We're going to make a list, which I've done here. So on to step 3, which is, I don't want to say where the magic happens because it's scary how much you can map on someone when you have these bits of information. So there's 2 tools that we're going to use. The second is the data breach that we've already been using. The first is the best online investigation tool that I know and use for everything. And it's called OSINT.industries. So back in Maltego, I've already run the searches here. We've got my old embarrassing email, the other work email is down below. So once you put the email addresses in here, right hand click, control click, person of interest, comprehensive search, OSINT Industries. I'm obviously not going to do it, but it links all the online accounts associated with a person. Old, embarrassing, whatever. There's a picture of me from when I was about 12. And you can just see how powerful it is at mapping genuine online presence and online footprint. And I will show you one of it for my old work. I had a Trello account. If you don't know what that is, it's a project management. So I used to put all of my day-to-day daily habits, sometimes my personal like goals and whatnot, in a Trello project management tool. It's now deleted, so you can't see it. But if that was active, anyone that had my email and done this search would be able to see what projects I was on, when they were due, what I'm behind on, all little tidbits of information that isn't for public consumption is available through these tools because it actually is public information. Then we want to do the same with the mobile numbers. These are old mobile numbers, so fairly uneventful. We can see I embarrassingly called myself Tyler Durden after I watched Fight Club for the first time. Email addresses in the data breach search is genuinely where we find the most personal data, the most damning personal data. So you can see here we have 2 passwords that have been linked to my old email addresses. Now these are real passwords that I used Christmas, very uneventful. I wasn't very cyber conscious growing up, poor digital hygiene. And I did use these for a long time, but I don't use them for anything now, as you can imagine. However, it's not uncommon for people to reuse the same passwords for a long period of time for a lot of different accounts. And it's easy to find these passwords. So if you do reuse them, there's a chance that someone can find them and compromise your account. And then the same for the numbers, do the data breach searches. The final search we do, and I'm going to showcase this. So on the first search, we got a load of usernames. So we want to do a similar search to the online accounts, and we want to reuse that same tool called OSINT.industries. And so I've taken this because I know it's linked to other ones, but you can do it for all the usernames, which obviously is the best thing to do. I'm going to plug it in here. Same search. Person of interest, comprehensive search, OSINT.industries. And this is going to search, I think it's over 700 different social media platforms to find every occurrence of that username being used. If you want a free option, you can go to whatsmyname.app and do the same searches. You can see I've already done the searches, come back with nothing on there because it's free, it's not as good. But if we go to Maltego, we can see it's linked to a Pinterest, an old Twitter, an old Instagram, a Fiverr account, a Kik. I purposely left this in here because it's very embarrassing and I just thought it was very unauthentic and jumped up of me if I took out this embarrassing photo of me topless pouting in an old instant messaging chat from when I was about 15. Because I investigate a lot of people, and whilst it's all for good reason and all compliant, I still look into people's online lives, and no one really understands how much information is available about online, and embarrassing things do pop up now and then. I've had ridiculous stuff from a man where he was present on a website for mensuckingmenstoes.com, which each to your own, but I don't think he wanted me to know that, and it popped up and had to show him after. So it's rude of me not to include my little embarrassing things there. That is mapping the online presence in terms of like the software and tools that we use, which is incredibly powerful. It may be a little bit information overload, showing you a completely new bit of software and doing this. But it is just a case of putting the information in, right, and clicking it. But feel free to ask any questions, get stuck on anything. I have a free school community where I'm going to be running through this a lot more in depth and answering questions and doing videos on the questions. The last search we're going to do is a two-parter. So good old-fashioned Googling, but we're going to do Googling in a different way. So similar to what we've done earlier in the data breach search, we want to do something called a Google Boolean search, also known as Google Dorking. And what that does is it essentially, you put keywords and phrases with some punctuality, and it creates a mini algorithm that Google can read and filter down all the search results specifically for what you want. So to keep it very, very simple, my full name, my unique name, Aaron Barnes Wilding. If I put speech marks either side of it, it's only going to bring back web pages that contain specifically Aaron Barnes Wilding in that exact format. If I didn't have the speech marks, it could bring back a web page that may say just Aaron Barnes, or Wilding and Aaron, or the names in different ways and a hyphen. This has to be in this exact format. And because I have a unique name, it comes back with results that directly link to me. We've got my old athletics, Pinterest, SoundCloud, link to my companies, a post when I used to do club promoting when I was younger, a review I left at a yoga studio. So very powerful. If someone is a John Smith, John Doe, Jane Doe, then we would take that, Jane Doe, speech mark, Jane Doe, I'll write it. So I'll do it for me on Aaron Barnes. So Aaron Barnes, and then we would filter by another fixed variable, so something that we know links to our person of interest. And the best thing to do if you're starting from a LinkedIn account, speech marks, name, speech marks, speech marks, location, speech marks. So it's going to bring back every single web page that contains Aaron Barnes and Liverpool. And for this purpose, it's come back with, I did a public speaking event, my first one. Don't watch it, it's embarrassing, it's quite terrible. End of last year. And if you're gathering intelligence on someone, little breadcrumbs of information like this are very, very valuable to help paint a picture of who the person is, what they're about, what they do. So the first result here is a 5-minute speech I did. So you can find out a lot about a person from online content and so on and so forth. So that is the manual searches, and we'll go through that, filter it down. And then the final search is the facial recognition. Now the facial recognition comes with a compliance warning. The terms and service of PimEyes.com, which is what we're using here, strictly states that this is only allowed if you're searching your own face. I am searching my own face in this case, but it's sort of bullshit. It's a legality thing because they incentivize you to do as many searches as possible, and they try to upsell you packages to search as many faces as possible. They have the technology to know if I search my face, and the next I search someone else's, someone else's, and they don't use that. So it's bullshit, but it's not admissible in court if you're like breaking terms of service and so on and so forth. It's not compliant. So I will show you how it works and show you mine. My face will not come up with anything, but I'll show you the process. So LinkedIn, face, me, screenshot, PimEyes, drag it in, capture, verify. Search, and then it will search online. What this is really good for is any media that anyone's been mentioned in, blogs, or mentioned on company websites and things like that. Those are generally the things that provide some sort of intelligence. We can see Yeah, so it's come back, and you can search these for free, but if you want to see the results, you have to pay. So it's worthwhile you doing it on yourself anyway, just to clear up any issues. I had it one time where, as a girl I used to work with, searched her face, and then she found that she'd done child modelling. So when she was about 14, there was a picture of her. I think it was just to do with like clothing, but her picture had been found on a porn site for when she was a child. So they obviously got it all remediated and taken off and issue resolved, but it is powerful, especially for females. All of these searches are powerful. I have a big story, which I'm in the process of trying to tell, I can't tell at the moment, about how important it is to stay compliant and the repercussions if you don't stay compliant, and how it can really cause huge issues to your life and your business if you don't. I'm really looking forward to being able to speak about that. But for now, use this information, stay safe. If you want to learn more, I've got a free school community that I'm just starting, where I'm going to be posting these videos in there first, getting feedback, helping anyone that has ongoing investigations, and taking the questions that people have and then revolving my marketing and online content around that. So I know everything I do is solely and purposely helping people.